If you're willing to invest your attention with me today, this is what you'll walk away with. You'll walk away with a clear understanding of why your goals stall out, even when you feel like your motivation is high. We're going to talk about how energy and time are drained and what is draining them. Second, I want to talk about the real math behind screen time. What's the real math behind our sports time? What's the real math behind our gambling time? And how do we use our discretionary time, like that time that is free? And then I'm going to share a simple time management framework. It's the framework that I use in my life, and I'm hoping that you find that you'll be able to use the same framework in your life. I'm going to also share a decision filter that will support you with reclaiming your valuable time without guilt. And that's what I want to talk about today. We're living in what I would call the distraction economy, and where your attention is the product and your dreams are the opportunity cost. Now, most of you all know I'm a big proponent for goal setting, I'm a big proponent for vision casting, I'm a big proponent for moving your life forward. When I say my purpose is to help you live the best life possible, that's one of the only ways I know how to support people to do it. There are a few others, but that's one of the major ways. And so I've really been, this year in particular, with the Slayer Goals coaching community, which is basically my Patreon. And so if you want to go to slayergoals.com to learn more, download the free book, do that to learn more. But I've really been thinking about, man, how do I move this group forward in a way that super exceeds what I've done in years past, right? So 2026, how do I move this group forward? Really been thinking about that. And as I've been thinking about it, I started thinking about, okay, let me think about the average American. The average American. And let's just, let's think about the average American for a moment. My question, as I was kind of thinking about it, is the average American undisciplined? And I wanted to, are they undisciplined? And to me, the best way to find this out is to look at their finances. Because I don't know what else matters more to any of us than our money. I mean, outside of our health, what matters more than your money? Almost always, if I ask, I don't even got to, Ade sitting here, I don't think I have to ask, outside of your health, what matters more to you? The health, and when I say health, your family's health, the people you love's health. And then right behind that is what matters the most. Most people are going to have a money conversation, right? A money complaint or a money chat of some sort. So then if that's the case, then let's look at American finances, right? And when you look at American finances, the median household income is about $83,000. That means everybody in the house, right? So the median household income is about $83,730. U.S. household debt collectively is $18.6 trillion. Now, we could do some math, take that 83.7K and, divide it by, the number of American citizens. $18.6 trillion in debt. So that's one clue where it's man, when it comes to debt, maybe Americans aren't that disciplined. I'm just looking at the data, okay? When you look at the average consumer debt, the average person is carrying about $104,000, really $105,000 worth of debt, the average person. And that's all debt, college loans, you name it, $105,000 worth of debt. And at the same time, the Americans' personal savings rate is only 3.5% of everything they make. And so as a result, according to the data, now I saw two different numbers, but one said 62%. The other one said about 70% of households are living paycheck to paycheck. All right. So that's our financial situation. I call this the financial stress context. Okay. So the average American is under financial stress. You might say, Linnell, what does this have to do with the distraction economy? Well, I would say this. If I am living with that awareness every hour of every day, I would do something about it. I believe most of us would do something about it. However, the distraction economy has been created to actually give you an escape from your financial reality, because we get entertainment that is worthy of a millionaire. I mean, you think about it. I mean, we have access to entertainment that is worthy of a millionaire. And so all I have to do is jack myself into that, and I'm instantly distracted from my true financial reality. So then here's what I really want us to understand. That financial stress, while you would think it would lead us to really dig into our goals, like to really, really, get connected to what it is that I want to create, here's what I believe is happening. We're actually doing the direct opposite. My money margin is thin, which is typically blamed on my energy margin. That's also thin. And by the way, my energy margin is thin because I spend all this time trying to keep up with the debt I owe. I got to pay this debt off. So I'm working really hard to pay my debt, which creates a thin energy margin. And because I work so many hours, and by the way, like if this is making sense to you guys, because I really want to give you the solution here. And so because I'm working so many hours, my time margin feels thin. And because my time margin is thin, and all these margins are thin, my money margin is thin, my energy margin is thin, my time margin is thin, then if I can buy escape, like if I can somehow buy escape, I will. Not because I'm weak, but because I'm tired. And this is where the distraction / attention economy is engineered to meet me right there in my exhaustion. It's like, come on over here, baby. Daddy's got you. Let me rock you to sleep. Your goals, what goals? You've been working too hard. You earned an opportunity just to be. And we get rocked to sleep, which puts us in this perpetual cycle of then more debt, less savings, living paycheck to paycheck, because I'm exhausted, but I'm so exhausted I have to check out. And the attention economy is designed to woo me right in and give me that so-called, it's not a real peace, but this artificial peace that day that spearheads me right back into the next the same way. So there's an entire entertainment ecosystem. And this ecosystem has been optimized to capture you. Like, I want to be very clear about this. Like, the entire entertainment ecosystem has been built around you. Let me give you an example of what I mean. They know you need recovery time. And so the language, the colors, the content is all about, hey, give us that recovery time. They know you're emotionally fatigued. And so the angle is, come to me with your emotional exhaustion. Like, come to me, I got you. Now, and here's the crazy part. It doesn't solve it. What it does is, almost like alcohol or any other drug, it just kind of shrouds it for a moment, right? The entertainment ecosystem is optimized for you to give up any discretionary time you have. So what do I mean by discretionary time? A little later, when I walk through the time management framework that I've built for you all, I have 4 buckets of time. Okay. Now, there's a mandatory time bucket. We all have a mandatory time bucket. We all have required obligations. There are things like even yesterday, I woke up, I had things that I had to do. Both my children were like, Dad, why you got to go? I'm like, look, man, like there's certain things Dad has got to take care of, right? I want to be here with you. It's a Saturday. Believe me, most Saturdays I want to be there, but I also have certain responsibilities that are calling. That is mandatory time. It's a required obligation. If I'm going to be responsible as a man in terms of how I take care of my family, this is mandatory time. It's not negotiable. We all have mandatory time, right? Time that I absolutely need to show up, okay? These are my required obligations. Then the other bucket is what I call your sustainment time, or you may want to call it your maintenance and recovery time, right? This is when you sleep. This is when you, take care of your personal hygiene. All the time that you spend, ladies, when you go and get your hair done and, you get a facial. Like all of this is sustainment time. I know we call it self-love time. It's really sustainment time. Like this is when you maintain and recover, right? So that time, if you're a reasonable human being, is really non-negotiable, right? Like you should wash up. You should brush your teeth, like those type of things, right? Your sustainment time. You should eat a meal, etc. Then you have what I call discretionary time, okay? And this discretionary time is flexible. And so this is when you come in from work and you're like, whew, what a day. Right? Now, for some of us, there may be mandatory time. I need to open the laptop, send some emails, etc. That's still mandatory time. So I'm talking about for you then, when you close that laptop and you look up, maybe it's 8 p.m. and you're like, okay, how am I going to spend the rest of the evening? That's your discretionary time. And then you have default time, right? Now, your default time lives within your discretionary time. And most of us, instead of seeing that as time that I can create something, what happens is our discretionary time goes into this rabbit hole without intent. And so it's 8 o'clock. I close the laptop. I'm like, man, okay, I finally have a moment. And then I fall into the attention/distraction economy. Like, and it's got me. And by the way, it probably has me for the next 4 hours, which leads to the cycle, right? Because if I don't give that sustainment time proper attention, now I'm tired the next day. And it just cycles. Okay. So I want you to hear, we'll go back to the time bucket framework in a minute. And I'm gonna do my best to break this down today. If you struggle with time, like you do not want to miss this show, I'm telling you, pay the price of your attention this time. Like, please, for your own sake. Okay? All right. So the entertainment ecosystem is optimized to capture your recovery time. Think about that. So your sleep time is optimized to capture your sleep time. Why do you think these series end the way the episodes end the way they end? It's 11 o'clock. It leaves you on a cliff, and you're like, I'll just watch one more. It's stealing your recovery time. It's stealing your sustainment time, right? Emotional fatigue. It'll take you on a high. I mean, the content that gets the most views is typically the comedy. It supports that emotional fatigue. And what it does is it basically starts to rob you of your discretionary time. This is your time. Like, is that really how you want to use it? I would say probably not. But it sucks you in. And it sucks you in because of that stress relief cycle, that exhaustion cycle. And here's the thing. I want to be clear. I'm not saying that it's evil. What I'm saying is it's very effective. It is incredibly effective. And what I'm seeing is that most people who have wonderful aspirations and dreams, the thing that is taking them out is this distraction attention economy. It's killing their dreams. Like slowly, I want you to think of like someone being slowly strangled. That's what your dreams look like as a result of this attention distraction economy. Now, here's the crazy part. The platforms that have created this effective tool to siphon off our times are more profitable than they've ever been. I'm going to give you some numbers. I'm going to give you, like, it's going, man, okay? So these platforms are profiting most when you're tired, when you're stressed, when you want quick relief, and when you don't really want to think that hard. And they've designed it to basically get you there with the least amount of effort. Like, I mean, for most of us, it's like maybe 3 taps. I can pull my phone up, tap, it opens. Swipe, swipe, tap, I'm at the app. I might need one more tap to get to my favorite show. Like pop, 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 pop. I'm there. Just like that. Just like that. You know what's tough? If you want to look at your goals, you got to go through a little bit more than that. You got to open the laptop. You got to find the file. You got to open the file. It's going to take you a couple of minutes to read it. Like, it's not designed the same way. And that's one of the things I've been thinking about. Okay, how do we make it even easier? Like to compete with the attention economy. But until we do, I got to teach you. When I say profit, like how much are they actually profiting? I want to run some numbers past you. And this was, so for Netflix, which is number one, right? I'm gonna run these off as best I can in order. For Netflix, which is number one, their gross revenue, 2025, $45.2 billion. $45.2 billion. Now let me put that, because that number might not really click, right? So I want you to really understand how much money that is. And to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look up a company. Let's look up Verizon's 2025 revenue, right? Now, this is a company we absolutely need. You know, you get where I'm going? Like they're connecting almost all of us, right? Verizon's total operating revenue in 2025 was $138 billion. Okay. So this is what I call like a commodity. Like we need that connectivity to do our work, to do everything, right? Netflix is a luxury. All right. And even as a luxury, it is operating at more than a third of the profit of Verizon. Like 45. Like they're getting it. By the way, they don't have the same expenses either. Because if we would look to add, Verizon's overall profitability, then, we see a different number. Okay. So Netflix, $45 billion. By the way, Disney does not disclose. Disney Plus is like, that ain't none of y'all business. Well, you don't need to be knowing how much I couldn't even find subscribers. Okay, and I searched. And y'all know I know how to use AI and all that I searched. Couldn't find it. Okay. Amazon is very similar. And part of what they do is they have the membership bundle. And so they can hide, they can hide behind that membership bundle how many people are actually looking at Prime Video. Okay. So then I had to go to the NFL. The NFL last year reported $23 billion in revenue, right? $23 billion in revenue. Speaking of which, today is the Super Bowl. We're going to talk a little bit about that. All right. Warner Brothers, who owns quite a few different outlets, $39.3 billion. Why am I sharing these numbers with you? Okay. Paramount. And I want you to really think about this, right? Paramount, who is not a main key entertainment vehicle, they have 77.5 million subscribers. I want y'all to wrap, so if they were just charging $1 per subscriber, you see how much money they're making? And we know they're not charging $1 per subscriber, right? You got Peacock. Peacock is on the low end, 5.4 billion. But then you have the sports books and gaming. So DraftKings at the top, 4.7 billion. FanDuel at the top, 5.8 billion. DraftKings is right behind them. I think FanDuel has 36% of the betting. DraftKings has 32% of the betting. And I also tried to look up how long it takes to do a parlay, because some of us just check out, and I'm talking to the fellas now. A lot of us check out, we start looking at lines and, so I don't have time to really be clear on my vision, but it takes me about 15, 20 minutes to pick a good parlay. It's a trick, man. It's a trick. Bet MGM is at the bottom here at 2.8 billion. I'll take that. All right. Now, and then Caesars, the rest of them, Caesars at 1 billion, etc. All this is going on when the average household is making $83,700. The average household in America. The average household, 3.5% savings rate. The average household has a consumer debt of over $100,000. What we've identified is that the majority of our discretionary time is being captured by screens and entertainment defaults. I think that's the average American, the average human being right now. The majority of their discretionary time is being captured by a screen of some sort. I think I can confidently say that. Now, there might be a few outliers out there, right? But for most of us, we know this. Now, why is it working? It's working because you're stressed. It's working because you lack a time management system. It's working because you're emotionally overloaded. And it's also working because you lack clarity. I've been really pushing this thing around clarity. But why aren't people getting clear? We're not getting clear on our own vision because we constantly engage in a vision that's being cast to us. Let me say that again. I 100% believe the reason most of us are not clear on our own vision for our lives is because we're constantly being cast or streamed another vision, period. Okay? Now, this is why the attention/distraction economy is working so well on us. Now, why is it siphoning off our dreams? Well, because there are universal laws that actually say, number one, the law of attention. What you consistently attend to will grow. So if my mind is on the next episode of a series, then that is what's going to grow in my life. These are laws. They're principles. I want you to like, I really, like, these are laws. The law of attention states that whatever I give my attention to will grow, which means if entertainment has my attention, my appetite, my desire, and that section of my life, that sector of my life will grow. I will become more entertained. There'll be more series to watch. Like, they ain't letting you up out of there without showing you the next thing. Case in point, the last Netflix movie I watched, as soon as it was over, there were 3 previews at the bottom. Boom. Right? And without me even asking, the first preview started to play. And by the way, it's sensational. You're like, well, that looks good. Right? Then the next one goes. And they got it figured out because they got you in the algorithm. They know what you click. They know what you like. Your thumbs upping certain things. Your double thumbs upping certain things. I love it. They're like, oh, excellent. Let me feed you more. Let me give you more. And the problem is the law of attention basically states, it doesn't say, oh, with television it's different. It says whatever you consistently attend to, will grow. If I'm consumed with my anxiety, I'll get more of it. Man, and what I'm trying to do this morning is like support us with getting out of this loop, because it's a loop. So how do you break the loop? Here's a second universal law that has us bound in this thing. It's the law of default. What you don't direct gets decided for you. So let's go back to discretionary time. If every day I have discretionary time, if I do not have that time directed, it will get decided for me, especially in today's attention economy. How many times, let me just ask you guys, like how many times have you lost an entire evening and you don't know how? You sat down, you turned on the television, you looked up, it's like 11 o'clock, I need to go to bed. And like, you can look around your home and say, man, I did not intend to spend my time this way. I did not intend to spend my time this way. Just like that, another evening's gone. The law of default. What you don't direct will get decided for you. We were created to have dominion. Not be at default, but to have dominion. Are you taking dominion over your time? Like you have the power over your time as well. Are you giving it up, or are you taking dominion over it? Here's the last one. The law of opportunity cost. The law of opportunity cost. And I'm going to be adding up some things for you in the second hour. I'm going to give you some hidden time math that's going to blow your mind. You do not want to, I want you to really understand what you're giving up here. Okay. And why, Netflix is poised to make 50 billion at the end of 2026. How can they add that much? Because they like, man, we already got them. We're going to keep getting them. Because as long as they don't listen to guys like Linnell Harris, we can keep them in the loop. I'm trying to pull you out, man. Like, let's get out this loop. I would much rather watch Netflix in my dream home, than to watch it in my current, I'm good. I don't have Netflix time, right? And then watching in my dream home with a given threshold because I'm in dominion of my time. Law of opportunity cost. Every yes, what this means is every yes to a distraction is a no to creation. Now, if you were designed to be a creator, right? What do I mean? Yahweh, the creator, is the macro creator of all things. He designed us in his image and gave us his spirit, which makes us micro creators, which means you have the capacity and power to create. But every time I say yes to a distraction means I'm saying no to creation, which is why you feel underprivileged in your life, because there was an opportunity, there's been opportunity to create, but the law of opportunity cost, it caught you. Because every yes I give to a distraction means that I'm saying no to creation, no to creating the healthy living that I so desperately want, no to creating the relationships. Like, some folks ain't in a relationship because they're so caught up in entertainment. Like, if you actually said no, turned off the series and walked out the house, somebody could see you. Hey, girl. Right? So when I say yes to distraction, I'm saying no to creation, no to relationship, no to money, more finance, because that comes through creation. That comes through creation. The law of polarity states that there's always a different opportunity. So if I'm in financial stress, that means there must exist financial ease on the other side of that somewhere. But if I'm too distracted to think it through, to sit down and craft out ideas of how I can see the other side of that financial polarity, then I'm actually saying no to that creation. The law of opportunity cost. Hey, if you're enjoying what you're watching right now, do me a quick favor. I want you to hit the like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to tap the notification bell so you never miss when we drop new content. Seriously, it means the world that you're here. Thanks for watching, and let's get back to it. I promised to cover the hidden time math. And so what I want to do is just kind of walk through some of this math. So the average American, right? The average American is watching 3 to 4 hours of television a day. That's still hard for me to process. I mean, there are days in my house where the television never gets turned on. I mean, it's just black, right? But I get it. There's some people where it's just running in the morning, running in the evening. So the average American is watching 3 to 4 hours of television. This equals about 950 hours a year. You do the math on that, 40 days. 40 days. Now, that 40 days, man, that's one that jumped right out at me. 40 days. Yahushua fasted for 40 days. It rained on the earth 40 days, 49. It's like 40 days. What if you're giving up 40 days a year? Man, that's got to have some serious spiritual significance. I'm sorry. I was just like, it's like mind blown when I saw that 40 days. Now, when you look at your phone, the average estimate, right? And by the way, this is taking out mandatory time. So email, all those kind of things. All right. This is when I'm looking at my phone, I'm playing a game, I'm streaming something, etc. Right? I even told it to take out YouTube because my assumption is you're watching it. You might be watching me. I was like, take YouTube out. Right? I don't want to knock them if they're watching the show on YouTube, okay? Now we know that's not everybody, but I still took it out. Even when I took it out, 4.5 hours a day. 4.5 hours a day. 1,643 hours a year, which comes to about almost 70 days out the year spent looking at the screen. Whew. That's a lot of time. That's 110 days per year of screen attention. That is a third of your year. No wonder people can't get nothing done. Like when I tell you, when I tell you that I was like, all right, I completely, like, it's starting to click for me. like why we are in the situation we're in. Like it's starting to click. Boy, this attention economy is winning. This attention economy, it's winning. I just want you to sit with that. 110, that's close to a third of the year. That's close to a third of the year. Now, I want you to think about something. Most of our dreams require about 1 hour, not even 1 hour a day, right? Not even 1 hour a day. So if that's the case, why are our goals still undone? Why are our goals still undone? Now, I walked through some of the attention math. I said I promised the NFL attention math. So, for the fellas, it might be down there where the power not coming in. Okay, it's there. It's there. I want to walk through some of this NFL attention math. So, the Bears had a run this year, right? All right. So, a lot of us started watching Bears. Like, some of us started watching Bears game, me included, where, in the past, I was like, nah. Matter of fact, here's what I will say, is that I haven't watched this much football since the Colin Kaepernick situation, right? NFL lost me when the whole thing went down with Colin Kaepernick, right? Colin Kaepernick. I was like, I'm done. And I've been done. And then, the Bears had their run. This is the most I've watched, and I watched the Bears this year, right? This is the most I've watched in a long time. All right, so what did that cost me? What did that cost me? Well, the average game is about 192 minutes. All right. There are 19 games in a season, which means that's about 61 hours, like 61 hours of screen time, of watching. You hear me, fellas? That's just the Bears. That's just the Bears. Now, if I call myself one of those people who, hey, everything stops when football starts, that means I'm giving up 300 to 350 plus hours a season. Let me tell you something. Some people are training harder for football season than they're training for their futures. I mean, I hope this is blowing y'all mind a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit, right? I'm mad about the 192 minutes a game. Like, man, right? And it's like, okay, I spent it with, friends and family and cousins, and, it's nice to hang out with them. But I'm like, bruh, you kidding me? Okay, anyway. Let's look at the Super Bowl. So the Super Bowl's today. By the way, we can have some fun. You can put, who you believe is going to win in the comments there on Facebook and YouTube. By the way, we're streaming live to YouTube and to Facebook. You can watch right now on Facebook by going to facebook.com/Coach Linnell Harris. And you can watch right now by going to youtube.com/@Linnell Harris, LINAL. All right. So this year, a 30-second Super Bowl ad slot is $8 million. Now, that doesn't include production cost. Okay? So then if you add in production costs, depending on who the actor or actress is, depending on like how much pizzazz, right? Because this is the time. Like, I know my wife will watch for the commercials, not the game, right? She'll watch for the commercials. So this is the time they want to have some pizzazz. So production costs can run between 2 to 5 million. So then you add that to the 8 million, you're looking at overall costs between $10 to $13 million for 30 seconds. Now you have to ask yourself, why would a company spend that much money for 30 seconds? And by the way, this is packaged. So it's not like they just bought the 30 seconds because, I don't know what network. Look up what network is running on today. But whatever network is probably Fox or CBS. But whatever network is running the Super Bowl today, they're smart. They're like, hey, you can't just buy 30 seconds. You got to buy a package. You got to run this 3 times, right? So you got to buy 90 seconds or you got to buy 2 minutes, which means then if we're doing 2 minutes, what I want you to see is that a company has to spend about $40 million on the low end, right? On the low end, they got to spend $40 million to get your attention. NBC is on NBC. Okay. So NBC is, they're making some good money today. Now, I had to work this out because why would a company pay $40 million, right, for a package to get your attention? Well, back when I was in corporate America, we would sit around a table and we would talk about these things. And what they do is they break the numbers down, right? So I believe the last Super Bowl, I got to hear my notes. And instead of scrolling, trying to find it, I think it was like 120, 130 million viewers. I might be off a little bit, so don't hold me to it. Nope, I'm right on. 110 to 120 million viewers. Okay. All right. So if we take the low end, let's say $10 million for a 30-second slot. All right. And you got 110 million to 120 million viewers, then really what they're paying is about 8 cents per person. So they're running this economy math, and they're like, the attention economy math this is going to cost us about 16 cents if Ade and Lynell are watching. If I can just get their attention. Now, why do they want my attention? Why do they want my attention? Let's go back to the law of attention. The law of attention states that what I consistently attend to grows. So they bought a package, right? They bought 4 30-minute segment packages. So if I can insert into their minds that they need a luxury car, pop, that car comes around the corner, they're inside of them, like, you can have one too. Right now, APR is super low, right? You're getting your tax return back. Like, if they can get that seed planted in your mind, they know that it will grow. Now, you see every one of those cars on the road. Boom, boom. That's worth 16 cents, right? That's worth, now I got their attention. Now they're even talking about it. I got their attention. I'm going to get my money back. For them, this is an investment in your attention. Now, I want you to see how this works because they're attending to their goals. But what about ours? What about yours? Like, what about your goals? And they don't care about how much debt you're already in when they plant that seed. All they care about is, do you have a credit score good enough to get in more debt? Not one of them says, by the way, all the medicine commercials have disclaimers. This one will cause diarrhea, suicide, all these kind of, like, why would I take that? I still can't understand why somebody would take something after hearing all that, right? Like, there's got to be a better way. But, some of these, what's the best way to call them? Commercials that are encouraging you to spend more money, right? They don't have disclaimers at the end. This car may lower your credit score, cause you to get into deeper debt, and be under more financial stress. They don't say that, right? They don't have to, because you have to be smart enough. But if the seed gets in your mind and starts to grow, the thing about humans will create a way. If you gave the same energy to your goals, you would create a way. $0.08. Your attention has a market price today of 8 cents. Does that get under your skin a little bit? Like, I'm hoping it makes you kind of be like, what? 8 cents? Okay. I'm sorry. Maybe 10 cents if they spent more money. 10 cents. They're throwing dimes at you, literally. Your attention has a market price of 10 cents. So with that, y'all ready to walk through this time bucket framework? Like, you don't get my attention. Like I said, I'll be watching the Super Bowl. But as I watch the Super Bowl, I'm watching with awareness, right? I'm like, that commercial probably, that right, that's on the high end. That one's on the low end. Okay, they're only spending about 7 cents on this one. They've 7 cents, they want me to do something. Like, I'm watching with awareness, and that's all I'm asking. Here's the time bucket framework. And I would say this is everyone's core model, okay? You got 4 buckets. You got your mandatory time. I talked about this, your required obligations, your work, etc. You got your sustainment time, where you maintain yourself and you recover, sleep, nap, all that. Your sustainment time, incredibly important. And then you have your discretionary time. This is the flexible time. We don't get a whole lot of this, right? And by the way, this is the time that the attention economy is out after. And if they can get your mandatory time, they'll take it. And if they can get your sustainment time, they'll take it. There's nothing on your phone that's going to stop you from watching Netflix at work. If you get fired, oh well. And then they're like, and we only $17.99, so you can continue to afford us. Keep it going, even on unemployment, right? They just want your attention. The 4th bucket is default time. And this is where discretionary time goes when we don't have clear intentions, when we don't have clear goals, when we don't have a clear vision. Those are the 4 buckets. Now, here's the core equation I want you to run. If you have a notebook, I want you to write this down. Your discretionary time minus your default time equals your goal time. By the way, Slayer Goals members, we're going to go through this after the show today. All right, if you want to become a Slayer Goals member and be a part of these conversations, you can go to slayergoals.com and click on the button, Become a Member. I promise you that you will get the ROI. Okay, so you have discretionary time minus default time. That is your goal time. Default time is where discretionary time goes without intention. So what I would do is I would think of my discretionary time, my Saturday, my Sunday, my Monday evenings after I get home, my Tuesday evenings, Wednesday evenings. You might say, well, Linnell, I got Bible class or stuff. I'm like, okay, well, that's time that's already, it's still discretionary time. Let me be clear, right? But that's time that you've already slotted out. It's not default time. It's time that you've already slotted out. And I would add up my discretionary time and then minus default time. And just look back at the last week, the last 3 weeks. How did I spend that time? By default, where did it go? And that's your goal time. That's your vision time. Goals don't necessarily compete with work, right? I'm not telling you to be at work, looking out the window, going through a vision session, right? Boss walks up, what are you doing? Hold on now. It's my personal vision. I'm not telling you to do that, right? That's mandatory time. You have an obligation and a commitment. Most of you have a verbal contract of some sort. You honor that. I believe in honoring that, okay? What I am saying is that your goal should compete with your default time. Any time that is being sucked up unintentionally. Now, the one thing I didn't look up is talk time on phones and text time on phones where, you're just chatting. You're just chatting. I got a person on my team and we were having a conversation and she told me, she was just like, Linnell, I talk too much. I spend a lot of time talking and just calling people, how you doing? And to get into a conversation and I look up and be like, what happened? For her, it's just talk time. And so her default time equals talk time, where you could actually say, hey, I got to get off the phone with you because I got a life that I'm looking to build and improve. And I need to write some things down. I need to gain some clarity. I need to move with more intent. Or you could turn the conversation into that. Let's do it together, right? They got to be like-minded, though. I said this a few weeks ago, and I want to be very, very clear because somebody, as you're listening to this, the thing that will come up is, well, if I do this math, will I still spend my time that way? Will I still spend my time that way? And this is what I would say. Speed without clarity creates activity, not advancement. Clarity creates speed. Confusion creates drag. Drag creates doubt. Doubt creates disbelief. Disbelief erodes vision. The idea is to choose clarity. If you don't know where to start, the first place to start is getting clear on where you intend to go. How do I want to end 2026? If that's too far out, how do I want to end this first quarter? At the end of March, where do I want to be in my life? Now, I want to break this down and provide you all like a decision filter tool. One of the things I will ask myself, and now I'm starting to get into like my frameworks, like these are the things, because I've really been paying attention to, all right, Linnell, how have you mastered certain areas of your life? And what are the questions that you ask yourself that keep you within the guardrails of your goals? Here are a few of those questions. Write these down. When I get to my discretionary time spending, I'll ask a question. Does this move my future and the future of my family forward? Does it move? And these are things that when I identify that it's a yes, like even my wife can't move me on it. I'm like, so why are you doing that? Hey, I'm going to finish this and then you'll have my attention, right? Because I love you today and the work I'm doing right now is about the love I have for you tomorrow. You just got to trust me, right? Okay. Does it move my future and the future of my family forward? That's the first question I'll ask myself when it comes to my discretionary time, how I'm spending my time. Okay. Here's the second question. When I do choose to do something by default, is this recovery? Is this my recovery time? Or am I avoiding something? All right. If I sit down, I'm watching the game, it's Monday night, and I might go, is this how I really want to spend this time? Am I in recovery? Like, is this intentional recovery time? Or am I avoiding something else? And I'll start to search my mind, right? I pause commercials. Maybe I watch a good play. I want to watch this game. Okay. But am I avoiding something? Right now, is there something else that could be happening, that I could be doing? Is there an opening? Is there a commitment that is not handled? And now let me tell you something. A lot of times, the answer comes back, yes. And I'll say, okay, let me get my laptop. And I'm going to still watch this game, but let me knock out the things that I notice I'm avoiding. All right? Number 3. Is what I'm doing right now intentional or is it by default? Is it intentional or is it by default? Like, if every Sunday, you turn on, like, noon, you turn on the game, is that default or is that intention? Have you programmed yourself to do that, or do you even want to watch that game? And by the way, this isn't about guilt. It's just about awareness. All transformation starts with self-awareness because it gives you the question of, it gives you the fork in the road where you can begin to ask the question and gain access to brand new choices. Maybe I'm not going to watch this game. Maybe I'm going to do something else. Maybe I could put the game on in the garage while I clean it. Like, should it get my full attention? Y'all get where I'm going? So now what I want you to do is to start to think about, okay, now that I'm bringing more intention, I'm bringing myself in with more intention, what is the structure for my goal time? Because, all right, Linnell, I listened to what you had to say, and maybe I haven't been operating with as much intention, and I want to start to do that. And so how do I structure that time? Now, if you went to my masterclass, you remember the AAA framework, which is align, act, adjust. Okay? Align, act, adjust. I'm going to walk through that for you guys in a minute. And I'm going to use the Super Bowl as an example. All right. The goal completion framework starts with a line. So the very first thing that I would do is I would ask myself, what's my vision? Like, where do I see myself at the end of 2026? And that discretionary time should be filled with getting crystal clear on that. Like, where do I see myself at the end of 2026? And I want you to get crystal clear. Why do you want to be crystal clear? Because speed without clarity creates activity, not advancement, right? So we want clarity. We want clarity because clarity creates speed. If you want to see your life accelerate, get clear. Clarity creates speed. Confusion creates drag. So if I'm not clear, then I'll have drag in my life. That drag turns into default time. I'm telling you, this is how it works. It's a system. We live in a universe that's governed by laws. All right. So clarity creates speed. Confusion creates drag. Drag creates doubt. Most of us are stuck because we're not clear. That lack of clarity turns into confusion. That confusion creates drag in our lives. That drag creates doubt. And this is why you don't believe yourself. You're like, I can't. I've tried. And it's like, but you weren't clear. That's why you couldn't. Has nothing to do with your capabilities. You were designed magnificently by the Creator. You have all the capabilities that you desire to have. They're just lying dormant inside of you. And you have to believe. You have to believe. But drag creates doubt. So now I have information that I use to say, what's the use? I mean, I might as well just enjoy this show. But if you get clear, I promise that you will begin to see your life accelerate. Clarity creates speed. Confusion creates drag. Drag creates doubt. Doubt creates disbelief. Disbelief erodes the vision. So the vision you had at one point, the reason it's not there is because you've gone through this process. This is why we choose clarity. The first thing I want to do with my discretionary time is get clear. Where am I going? Where am I going? What am I creating? So we go through the goal completion framework. First step is align, vision. Once I have my vision, once I'm clear, now it's time for me to create my strategy. And this is where I'm asking the question, like, what is your Super Bowl? What's your Super Bowl today? That's what the vision, like, what is it that if you accomplish this thing, you are the champion of 2026? What's your Super Bowl? I know mine. I know mine in my health. I know mine in my relationship. I know mine in my finances. I know mine in my work, my career, my purpose, my spirituality. What's your Super Bowl? What's your real Super Bowl? And your vision and your strategy, that's what you get aligned on every day when you wake up. Clear. I'm clear. I'm aligned. I'm aligned. So first vision, and then after your vision, you create your strategy. Right now in the Slay Your Goals community, that's what we're about to do this month. We're starting to create strategy, right? So if the vision's not clear, you should be getting in the coaching seat. If you're a member, you should be like, hey, I'm not that clear. I need coaching. I need you to help me wipe away some of this smear so I can get clear. You want to be clear. You want to be clear. The whole idea of the first 3 months of the year in the Slay Your Goals coaching community is about clarity and vision. Clarity and vision. All right? Then we start to work on strategy. Like, that's the planning process. So that way, not only am I clear on what my Super Bowl is, I now have a plan to win. Let me tell you something. Somebody asked me who was my yesterday, they were like, who do you think is going to win? I'm going with the head coach that's clear. Let me tell you something, man. If you begin to, and this is kind of how I research, I'm like, hey, the Seahawks coach at the beginning of the year cast a vision for that team. And it's really powerful. Like, it's really, really powerful. but he cast a vision for that team. And he made them commit to winning it all outside of their personal goals. Do you want to be champions? And are you willing to be a champion at the expense of whatever you want your stat sheet to look like? Whatever it is you want to create on a personal level. Like, are you? And he got every one of them to commit. He got every one of them to commit to this. So they all have the same vision. It's tough to beat a team like that. And everybody that came up against them this year realized it. It's tough to beat a team with that type of leadership. And I promise you, there'll probably be another show specifically on that team. Like, because it's like when you look at the framework of leadership, if not a show, it's going to be, I'm going to be with some executives breaking it down, right? Like, you want to lead powerfully, you want to take your business to the next level, here's a template. The team even has coaches for the players, right? And I'm not talking about running back coach and wide receiver coach. I'm talking about mindset coaches supporting them. That's why they're in the big game. Now, you look at your own life. Are you playing a similar game? Do you have similar leadership? Are you clear? That's alignment. That's how alignment works. So then what happens? Well, you act. So now that I'm clear, it's time for me to take action. It's time for me to take action. Purposeful action is part of what you begin to feel with that default time, like that discretionary minus default time, the goal time. So now that I've used it on vision and strategy, I'm very clear about my action blocks. When you go through the Slayer Goals coaching community, what we start to do is every month has an action plan. So now my default time, my discretionary time isn't default time, if that makes sense, right? My discretionary time, I'm looking at, okay, there are 3 things I need to accomplish this week. And by the way, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And so the beautiful thing about how we structure the goals is now what seemed to be huge, when you start to boil it down, really turns into 2 to 3 actions a week. And when I know what those 2 to 3 actions are, now I'm like, okay, so then that's going to happen Monday night, then Wednesday night, and Thursday night, I got this. So then Friday night, if my wife and I want to go to the movies, I'm not sitting there like, oh, I should be doing something else. I'm in alignment. I'm on the plan. I can actually enjoy myself. Everything's handled. And I'm building at the same time. Hopefully this is clicking. So purposeful action blocks actually give you protected time windows around your discretionary time. So anybody that follows me on social media, I still enjoy myself. We still have a good time. By the way, a lot of that is intentional as well. That's part of the vision. So I'm acting. Purposeful action blocks that are in protected time windows. What happens for my protected time windows is now what used to be discretionary time is now a protected action block. It's not discretionary time any longer. So when I finish that, now I clearly have default time. Linnell, you ever play video games? Yeah, I do. That's in my clear default time. Everything is handled. Right? My son would be like, Dad, you want to play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles together? Absolutely. Let's have a good time. And I can be entertained. I can be entertained without anything pulling on me like, oh, I should have done this. I should have done that. I'm irresponsible. None of that's going on. The other way to think about this is high levels of personal integrity. Number 3, where you adjust. At the end of every week, at the end of every day, it's the structured pause, right? How did I spend my time today? And this is where you review and you recalibrate. And this is what I call, this is how you prevent drift. This is how you ensure that in no way somebody might have, Linnell, you perfect? No, man. Have I got caught up before? I know the attention distraction economy works is because I've gotten caught up in it before, where I'm like, ooh, wait a second. There was something that was supposed to be done, and I clicked next episode. Right? It's happened to me. Huh. Okay. So that's on the table. Now that I'm adjusting, I'm taking the structured pause and I'm reviewing my day, I'm recalibrating. That was not a good use of time. Okay. So how do I prevent drift? You know what? Tomorrow, we can't even go there. Like, no, I'm not even, I'm cutting that off until I get to the portion of my discretionary time where that's actually available. I hope this is clear. I hope it's making sense. If you have questions, give me a phone call, 773-591-1690. If you've been listening to this and you like the framework, you want support with this framework, you can join the Slayer Goals coaching community. You can go to slayergoals.com, hit become a member so that you can learn more. Maybe you can't afford the membership. I understand that. While you're there, please download the free book. It's free on purpose. So you can download the free book and start your goal-setting journey with a resource that supports you. It's absolutely free. All right. If you're a leader, you've been listening to this, you like these frameworks, you want to learn more, you can go out to Amazon and purchase my book, Nature's Leadership Code. It's available on Amazon right now. Thank you for watching Inspirational Perspective. If you love this show and you want to see more content like this, you can go right here. And if you like this subject and you want to see much more content that we have available for you, just click the button here. As always, thanks for watching. Be sure to watch the show live, 7 a.m. every Sunday morning on WBON Radio, or you can catch it right here on YouTube or Facebook.com/Coach Linnell Harris. Be sure to hit that like button. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe so we can get more content just like this to you.